ICP is dumping hard ever since its recent failed rally. Is the rally over, or are we just getting started? We're going to need to talk about that. My name's Jack, and welcome back to another video. I make videos to help you build wealth and actually keep that wealth through these markets. Now, these markets move very fast, so if you haven't already, do consider hitting that subscribe button right now, clicking that notification bell so you never miss another trading signal. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the chart of ICP and also the chart of Bitcoin, because ICP has recently had a very strong rally, which was good. However, we look to be potentially rejecting that right now, and it looks to be potentially a failed rally. But we're going to be talking about where we are in terms of the price right now and where we could potentially be looking at going. So before we get into ICP, we're going to briefly look at Bitcoin here, because there is a few things going on right now on the chart. So firstly, right, we have had this fantastic move up on the chart of Bitcoin. This is on the daily time frame, looking at the price action. We've had this fantastic move up, pretty much back to all-time high, almost. And now we're consolidating here at this resistance, which, although it sort of feels shit when you're in this position, but actually this is bullish consolidation. There's actually nothing really that bearish about what the Bitcoin price is actually doing right now. Once you come up to a resistance level like this, which is our previous all-time high, and when you start consolidating, whereas the price isn't moving above, isn't moving below, this is the price action telling you that the market participants are starting to accept this price, and you're loading for the next break up. You're contracting for the next break up. So we've had a couple of false breaks here around this downsloping trend line. You've had one there on the 9th of June and fell back below it, and we have recently just fell back below it again. So for the immediate short term, guys, Bitcoin remains kind of choppy and directionless, but if you're looking at those higher time frames, this is the kind of pattern that often leads to a breakout. Not always, but often leads to a breakout to the upside. Now, Bitcoin is also very, very close to its 50-day simple moving average, which is right here, basically at the current price. Now, if we really want to see Bitcoin holding this green line here, which is the 50 SMA, put that on your charts, because on the daily time frame, basically when the price breaks below the 50 SMA, the green line here on Bitcoin, it generally can be quite negative. And let's just show you why you should consider having this on your chart. So let's look at this cycle basically from, since September 24. So if we're looking here, right, if you see the price close below this green line here, it often means downside. And this time it was a false signal, but it can also protect you from getting involved in catastrophic loss here. See the breakdown below, and then continues to move down. And the nice thing about this is on the daily time frame, even if you get a false signal, there's usually not much risk. So say you got out of your trade here on Bitcoin on the 9th of October when you saw that breakdown, you got another entry just a couple of days later, just a few percentage points higher. So there isn't really much risk. And again, you can see this generally does mark good points to be in or out of Bitcoin, as you can see. So just stick that on your charts. 50-day SMA, guys, strongly recommended. But yeah, back to the purpose of this video is that we are basically holding above this line now, and so long as we stay above this green line, we're looking good. If we do see a break below, I'll make another video, because that could potentially change things. But for the moment, Bitcoin is okay. It's ranging at resistance in a bullish consolidation pattern. So let's move on to ICP. So ICP here has rejected this our EMA band here on the weekly time frame, which obviously isn't fantastic, because you can see the rejection here very clearly with this long wick to the upside that we were discussing in the video a few days ago. And as we said a few days ago, the likely outcome of this is continued downside, which is what we are now experiencing. Okay, so on the weekly time frame, it is a rejection from key resistance, and I guess you have to sort of call a spade a spade. That's basically what we're seeing here play out right now. So if we look a little bit deeper then on the 3-day time frame, on the 3-day time frame, we are looking at our chart with the EMA band and our RSI here, and on the 3-day time frame, we again got that confirmed candle back below the EMA band here yesterday, so that has now confirmed. So you know how it works in the channel. One of my favorite indicators is using this EMA band as sort of to determine whether you're bullish or bearish. Basically, when the price is below this, I do not enter positions, and price, guys, has now confirmed back below it. I was very bullish here when we had this breakout here, but once we close back below here, it's no longer the case. And you can see typically, guys, when you see the price close below our EMA band here in previous price actions, generally it's not a great time to be in that asset, whether it's ICP or any other altcoin. So very simply, there's no real need to stress here. What we're basically waiting for, is to see the price find support and get back above our EMA band here. And that will allow me to enter another position. But for the moment, that trade signal is now invalid as of yesterday, just due to that candle close below the EMA band. But ultimately, there wasn't a lot of loss there. A small, very small loss when you're thinking about the overall gains. So now that we're back below this EMA band, it's time to chill out a little bit on ICP. I don't expect any crazy price action until we are back above here. So I think the most probable outcome right now in the coming days and weeks is seeing a general grind down to this level here between $5 and $4.60. I think that's a reasonable area of support where price will likely find some sort of bounce. Okay, so just before we end up here, I've got one more chart, and that's the ICP on the 4-hour time frame, and we're looking here with the 200 SMA. So the price is currently below this 200 SMA, and generally, guys, you see the pattern here. Generally, when the price closes below the 200 SMA, oftentimes it means you're due for a little bit more downside before you do start to see it turning around. But obviously there are some fake outs as well. But generally, the 200 SMA on the 4-hour time frame is quite good at determining trends, determine whether you should be in or out. And generally, when the price is below, you should be considering being out if you are a trader. So with all this in mind, then, where do we go from here? So just to summarize what we've talked about here, guys, Bitcoin is still technically bullish so long as we are above this 50-day SMA. And obviously that's going to impact greatly the price of ICP. So basically, if Bitcoin does bounce here at this 50-day SMA, which I am hoping for, I'm sure it'll bring ICP up with it. However, if it doesn't, then we could potentially be looking at seeing, ICP continuing back down to that sort of $5 to $4.60 level. Our invalidation for this then will be if we see the price of ICP close a 3-day candle back above our EMA band here, we'll get back to targeting some of these higher levels, in particular that $21 level. So if you've enjoyed this video, guys, please do consider hitting that subscribe button, clicking the notification bell, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.